lot about getting younger over the last few years, but is this a mature team, and is that reflected in those double-digit road rallies in St. Louis and New York?
Well, I think you're always striving to be a mature team. I do think we have mature guys on our team, even though they might not be quite as experienced. I think whenever we think about bringing a player in here, we talk a lot about the makeup of the player, and that has everything to do with who they are as a person and the kind of people they are, maybe as much as it has to do with the kind of player they are. And so I do think that even though we are inexperienced, I do think there's a sense of maturity. We value that. I think that's important in this league. You know, going about your work the right way every day and then handle the different situations that come up. But again, that's a work in progress for every one of us individually and for our team.
Jason, when you play a team that plays at a fast pace, is sideline management for your defense different than any other time of getting guys on and off the field?
Well, I just think communication is really, really important. And there are a lot of levels to that. Certainly handling the personnel is a big part of that. So how you communicate, getting the right guys on the field when they substitute. As you know, when they substitute, the ref will stand over the ball and give us an opportunity to substitute as well. But making sure the right people are out there is important, and then making sure that we're in the right defense and 11 guys are playing together. That's a big part of handling the up-tempo style of offense that we'll face tomorrow.
You guys have a lot of rivalries in the NFC East. Has the Eagles-Cowboys series moved to the top of this right now?
Well, I think they're all great. I really do. You know, that game the other night, I mean, there's obviously great history between the Cowboys and the Giants, and there certainly is between the Cowboys and the Redskins. And to your point, the history, you know, the long history and the recent history between the Cowboys and the Eagles is certainly a pretty good rivalry. So, you know, these division games all across the league are really, really significant, and they're certainly significant in this division.
With Dakota Watson hurt, do you need to call up Keith Smith again this week?
Yeah, we anticipate making a linebacker move here today.
How do you think Smith's handled all the up and down of practice squad?
I think he's handled it well, and you know, that's one of the things that we emphasize to our practice squad players is you have to get yourself ready to play every week because you never know excuse me, what's going to happen in terms of the roster and with injuries, and you have to have the mindset that you're getting ready to play in a ball game. You know, the guys who kind of punch the clock and just say, I'm running cards, those aren't the kind of guys we want on our team. We want guys to have a mindset and a mentality that they got to get ready to play every Sunday.
How do you get them active? You know, the move you make?
We'll work on that later this afternoon.
I know as a quarterback, you got to have a short memory. You know, Brandon Carr, that play has been shown over and over and over again, and will be probably for the next few weeks, months, years. Is he over that, and does he have a short memory?
Yeah, I think it's a great way to describe it. I think all players need to have a short memory. You know, you hear me say this a lot, that you're going to get challenged in this league. And the guy that's playing across from you will have some success. He's a good football player. And the guys who are mentally strong enough to keep coming back and handle success themselves, but also handle the adversities that happen, are the ones who are the best players. And teams need to be able to do that. And Brandon's a veteran player. That was a good play. You know, their receiving core had a good night, particularly in the first half against our group. But I liked how our guys responded and came back as that game wore on. And I think that was pretty good indication for him and for our whole secondary of their mental toughness and how they go about it. And that'll be the challenge again for us tomorrow. You know, this team will have success against us in all three phases. How do you respond to that? And the best teams respond the right way.
With Heath and Crawford, or either one of them IR candidates, or you feel like a few weeks they can get back on the field?
Well, we're in those discussions right now as to what the timetable will be for their return and what they'll be able to do when they come back. So we don't have to make that decision exactly right now, but that's certainly part of the conversation we have to have going forward.
The NFC East has a tendency to be decided in the next 3 weeks. Can you talk about the importance of this three-game stretch coming up and how?
Yeah, we live in this day-to-day world around here, so you know we got to go out and have a good walk through practice today and get focused on this game tomorrow. And you know, I think we all function best when we stay focused on the task at hand, and we just really focus on ourselves. We got to get ready to play a good ball game tomorrow against a very good football team.
Do you feel the urgency? Do you feel the urgency over the next 2 weeks?
Oh, we feel the urgency every day.
Today thing easier said than done, just because it's players, I'm sure, are looking at standings and different scenarios like that.
Yeah, we just focus on ourselves. We really do. And as coaches, we try to create that environment for our players. And we're always just trying to get better and get ready for that next challenge.
Why have you not been as successful at home this year? All of your losses have been at home.
Oh, I think you just have to look at the individual games. I don't think there's any grand conclusion that you can make about that. Think about what we did in each of those games. When you do things that winning teams do, whether you're playing on at home, on the road, on the moon, or in the parking lot, you know, you typically win games. And when you don't do those things, regardless of where you're playing, teams in this league are too good, and you probably won't be successful. So we have to focus on that, how we play, rather than where we play. Guys, I got to run just because practice is starting here.
Thank you.
Great to see you. Happy Thanksgiving.